like
Okay.
unexpectedly.
Cool. Thanks, Jose. So we were talking about we could do the we could check out the prepend left default and prepend right default stuff.
Yeah, let's let me check let me show you the bit of code that is that. So we're basically using this only for mobile breakpoints, I believe. Yeah. And here's the nasty part.
Wow.
And it's all labels, like it's a labels file.
That's
You
amazing.
know,
Yeah, I think we have to replace the classes that are used here.
I mean, but this is a good. How would you solve this? Would you create like margin utility classes with breakpoints scoped? Yeah, I agree.
But look at this. Map get grid breakpoints MD -1.
Oh, yep.
That's a little unusual. This is really scary.
Yep.
I don't want to touch it.
And the other fun thing is that I think that the $grid breakpoints, they don't align with the GitLab UI breakpoints.
Nope.
So when you mix and match those classes, like stuff goes yoo-hoo. And
so yeah, so here's how I would do it. I would just get rid of the usage of append right default and just do CSS. Like let's, for whatever is using this, append right default, append prepend left default, let's just style it here and get rid of the usage of that utility class. Because I don't want to refactor this. Yeah, where's manage labels list used?
I don't know. Let's look for it.
Cool.
How did you even come across this?
Yeah, it's because I've been removing a lot of CSS lately, and I encountered this, and it's just like, I'm gonna wait until the parent session is available because these two classes are too scary for me to remove. So we got one on admin labels, group labels, project labels.
Yeah, we use it a lot.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and oh god, they use it on a couple of feature specs.
Can we check out? Can we hop in on one of them, like the group labels, maybe?
Yeah, let's do this one.
Render share the label.
Okay.
Oh gosh, so that prepend stuff is coming from.
So what about here?
Here.
No.
Oh, what?
So do we have another vendor here? Let's.
If you check on the SAS file, the commit message, I think it was can give us a tip on what we are talking about. If you go on that line at 388. No. System level labels UI broken. Yeah, it's the same.
Yep.
So it should be inside label description. So maybe we want to
label row.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I bet that's what we want to look for.
Label row, description text.
Oh, there it is. Label description on line 9. The append right default, prepend left default.
Yep, this is the one.
So why don't we just make label description, just give it this margin in the first place?
We could do that and see if it doesn't break.
Yeah.
That label description could be a shared class left and right, no?
Okay.
Yeah, but you know. No, yeah, this label row is probably going to be used in a lot of places. Or maybe not label row, but the label one will be.
I mean, the label row is the one that we want to.
Yeah. But my thought is, if we get rid of this and then we just style label description. Oh, but I see what you're saying. If we style label description outside of this context, that's problematic.
Yep.
I will give it a specific class here, and so we can do what append right default, prepend left default does in that class, and on the breakpoint reverse that class. So then it's Like we are not touching the shared util.
That's a really good idea. We could call this label description margin or something, or label description wrapper, just something really crazy. I don't know. I hate wrapper classes.
No, just kidding.
You can call it wrapper. That's fine. No, it's. Yeah, and then I guess we could just replace
this one.
Yeah, but then we would want to add whatever our margin we expected was. We need to add another rule somewhere.
I mean, it's here, so let's look if manage labels list is defined somewhere else. Oh, there it is. Nice.
Cool.
So, but an action. Okay, since, well, cool. I'm just gonna put label, label description.
Wrapper.
Wrapper, there you go. And margin, right. I'm just gonna use the unit. I'm gonna extend the classes later.
Oh yeah.
And is my GTK running? No.
Oh, that's all right. I don't remember what it's supposed to look like. But yeah, something like that should work.
I hope.
That seems like a pretty safe-ish thing to do. That whole block is really weird though. That breakpoint block.
Mm-hmm. We're also going to need to clean this up later.
My question is, in your opinion, how much work is it needed to pass everything to utility classes? Like everything, not one thing.
I mean, the big problem, the big problem that I encountered so far is that we use display flex in like 4 different ways. That's, I think, the most difficult one to debug, because we use display flex from Bootstrap. We use display flex from an utility class that we have here at GitLab. We have another display flex from GitLab UI, and we have another display flex that is like when flex was starting to be a thing. And yeah, we need to choose whatever road we want to stick to. So if we want to stick to the GitLab UI, okay, let's use display flex from GitLab UI everywhere. I think that's the most difficult part. We should start at least on reviews, and as maintainers, we should try to stick to just one, so we don't accrue up more CSS debt.
Right. What's tough though is I think there's on some of the MRs, it has been tough for. Okay, we're trying to get this MR done. Let's try to use the GitLab utility classes. Okay, but it doesn't exist for this responsive thing.
Yep.
Fine, let's just use the Bootstrap class, or because I don't think it's going to be. It is not feasible, I think, to hold up the MR waiting for GitLab UI to update, because a GitLab UI update, those are the scariest MRs to me, because it is not obvious what's changed, but anything could happen. And I think maybe what we need to start promoting is this, because we do have this abstraction path. Whereas, okay, if there is something missing in our utility class thing, let's add it to the local utilities file, and then promote it up. But that's a lot of work, and there's a lot of gaps, and I think that's.
Is it a lot of work though? I think we just need a clear workflow so people know what. I mean, we are actually doing this with Jose right now, right? And I wrote the MR and he's reviewing it, and it takes 5 minutes to add the class to the utility file, and then another 5 to fire off the MR. And then the only problem is that you need to keep track of the integration MR between GitLab UI and GitLab, right? And then know when to create the MR to remove the one on your utility file. If we just add a little bit of utility that pings you and say, hey, GitLab UI MR is merged, now it's time to remove the one on utilities, I think that's the biggest overflow. not overflow. You see, in CSS speaking, overload of work.
Yeah, I think so.
Another thing, and now somebody's gonna be upset. I think we need some classes, some utility classes with important attributes set on. Because I know
that's not me. That's probably Enrique. He's gonna get mad.
Oh, that's funny.
I know. I hate important, but it makes it impossible to the utility class to override the messy CSS that we have. Otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then you can't use the utility class, and you need to write more CSS to remove CSS. And what are we doing here?
There's other ways to do it than using important. Like you can the order that the styles are loaded makes a difference.
Yeah, but the specific, we have a lot of rules. So, for example,
but you're right. We have a lot of nested rules, which really raises the importance of that stuff. And that's another huge factor to this as well, is trying to flatten out all of our, I think a lot of our CSS rules. We should not try to, and like even in this example, I would suggest, hey, let's just put label description wrapper. No one else is using it. Let's just put it in its own. Let's not nest it under anything. And I think nesting, that causes issues with utility classes a lot. And no, you're right. But what was I going to say? Andre has a really interesting idea of how to raise the importance without using importance. And you can give your HTML element like an ID, and then you can basically have for some of those rules, rather than using important, have it defined that uses that ID as a child, like ID as a parent or whatever, and that can like give it precedence. But at the end of the day, that might be more complex than just doing something important. What's scary about importance is we've become coupled to it with Bootstrap utility classes, and now it is not safe to replace it. That's a really scary thing, I think, with important is it really can stick around.
But the alternative is to use the Bootstrap classes because they all have important, right?
Yeah, I hate Bootstrap utility classes. Tailwind is lovely. Anyways, I know we're not going to probably be using it, but if you guys haven't used it, Tailwind is amazing.
I did use it.
Yeah, I prefer Bulma for my smaller projects.
Okay, I haven't ever used Bulma. Well, I've only used Tailwind. This looks like it's working, right?
Yeah, it's working. So the classes are applying correctly, and if I remove this, it gets moved around, which is fine.
Should we be true to what we just said and try to move it out from all that scope, like all that nesting, and flatten it out?
Yeah, I think that we could do that. Probably not with the responsive one. Like I would leave that one there, but the other one I would just move that to its own top level thing. The label description wrapper I would put on line 141 or something too. Yeah. Cool.
There we go. Let me just refresh the page.
Do we have any cases of like pre-pinned default in GitLab UI?
No, but we do use a couple of margin top utility classes from Bootstrap. So we might want to change those to our own utility classes.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, we do have like pre-pinned top default in GitLab UI.
Oh God.
Really?
Yeah.
But where?
It's in paginated list, or at least this branch that I'm on, it's on here.
So the component uses a class coming from GitLab?
Yep.
Yep, yeah. Hey.
I remember that there was one point that there was some talks about having the GitLab CSS run on GitLab UI, so you knew how your changes will look in GitLab. And now we're doing the reverse.
Yeah, we have that. We have that button. We have like a checkbox on the storybook of like, see what your component looks like with the GitLab CSS loaded into it.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why. So, yeah. How many more references to prepend left default do we have?
If we look at the list, we have this bunch here.
We're almost done.
I mean, the scariest one was the label CSS one. So
yeah. And now we knocked two of them out.
Yeah, so we just need to find and replace.
Hopefully.
Oh, there's even one from my stage.
Which
yeah,
one
there's
is
a couple from the IDE too.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So let's assume a quick find and replace. So prepend left default. Except for the common CSS one. Let me just delete that one.
Wow.
And GL margin left, I think it was 3.
Wait, it's 8 peaks.
Yeah, it's 8 pixels. So I'm not sure if it was 3 or 4.
3 is, I think, 8. I'm pretty sure 3 is 8.
Let's ask GitLab.
The spacing scale is 0.25, 50, 0.75, no?
It's 3.
Yeah.
Oops.
Man, those hard-coded pixels are going to be hard.
There you go.
The like append right 10, that's going to be
what I'm doing with those is I'm asking some of the UX folks that work with us with the design system. I usually grab a bunch of screenshots and I add them to the MR and I ping them to see if some of the big components that we use the most, especially the web IDE, like I just replaced prepend left, I think, or append bottom 15. And then the nice thing with this one is that it's just 1 pixel difference. So it's barely noticeable. And the web IDE commit sidebar, it was one of the ones that used the append bottom 15 for like the commit message and then the commit button. And that one actually looks way better with the extra pixel, like a little bit of extra white space.
That's awesome. Wow. Well, that's good. Now, what I think could be really scary with some of those is to get some things to vertically align, we'll like combine paddings and utilities to like, okay, up here it's like 35 pixels, but here my container has 20, and then here's a 15 pixel. Okay, it's vertically aligned. Like I could see that being really tough to, but these bottom I can see being maybe the top and bottom ones might be easier to do than the left and right ones. I think the left and right ones I think could end up being a little difficult.
Yep.
Did you already replace everything?
Yeah, I already click replace everything. So
this is the easiest pair programming time.
I mean, after just to do this, everything is easy.
Yeah, that rocks. Cool.
Place prepend left default.
Well,
excellent. Thank you. Because honestly, the level SAS one was super scary.
Yeah, and I think lesson learned there would be when something's scary, try to make as non-breaking of a change as possible, and I think that's what we might have accomplished.
Just by deleting the utility, we need to raise an heads up to everybody. I wouldn't like to have a new MR depending on this popping up and reintroducing it, or we don't know this and this kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, well, cool. Well, I'm gonna hop off. I gotta hop off a little early, but good luck and thanks for recording, Jose. And if you're looking for another thing to pair on during this time, some people brought up some interesting suggestions on our chat thing, but I'm sure that
we could do prepend left. We could do prepend right default.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll hop off. You guys have a good one.
Bye.
Yeah.
Have a nice weekend.
Thanks.
So, guess I'll just push this one because.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Let me just do prettier because sometimes Lynn or prettier will complain because something is missing or
you don't have configured in the editor directly, but with search and replace you may have not.
Yep. Okay, so looks like we're good.
But
now that I think about it, we cannot do prepend write default now because if we do prepend write default, we're gonna have to do the same changes as prepend left default. So what we can do is have the prepend write default as a child branch of this one.
Yeah, we need to base the branch on this. Yes, and then rebase it.
Yep.
It may be a conflict nightmare because we know we are touching code from several different stages here.
Oh, yes. Can we merge this one first? Then
I'm actually afraid that we may have, I don't know, no, like feature test failing.
Yeah, that's also another concern.
Yeah, let's see. Well, let's hope that nobody put a selector on a feature test based on the prepend left default.
It has happened for the other, so yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Do we have a epic or an issue that targets this?
Yeah, I do have it here. It's an issue, and it says remove append prepend utility classes, and wait for the merge request. I have 27.
Oh wow.
It's my summer exercise. Actually, let's just swap to this tab, and let's.
I really hope that one day we can remove every single CSS file from GitLab and just use utility classes. It makes it so much easier to read and review.
Indeed.
At least huh?
I mean, yeah, it's better. There we go. And since I have a bunch of this open, I'm just gonna copy the description.
Yeah, I do the same all the time. No worries when I work on this kind of stuff.
Yep. So this one, let's just swap the correct values.
Let's hope that the pipeline here is happy.
I hope so. Or I hope we don't have a main branch failing now. So
I think it's okay now, right?
I'm not sure. I don't want to change the slide because I don't want to cut up the video. So, I mean, might as well do it. Check out, replace, prepend.
Yeah, let's see if there is any delicate place there.
It's a pen right default. Oops.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
Let me see if there's another SAS file that we need to worry about.
There is a common SAS in the frame. That's the definition, I think, right?
Yeah, that's the definition. That's fine. So I think we're good to just search and replace. So,
yeah, seems so.
I mean, let's do it and see what happens. Oh, we actually have a snap file.
It's a snapshot.
Yep.
Well, you can rename it in the snapshot. It's gonna work the same, right?
Yeah,
No
it's gonna
problem.
work the same. We don't have to run Jess to update the snapshot.
Yeah.
So 41 occurrences across 35 files. Oh,
You're a brave man.
Let's do it.
And you can remove it from common, I guess.
Oh.
Actually, no, you just
yeah, I'm just okay. So git let's run prettier. There we go. And let's run ESLint. Oh, oh God. It's because I usually have I have one of the hot corners. That's what macOS calls it. And if I use the left, the down left most corner of the Mac to lock my screen. So that's what I was like, oh God. So yeah, let's commit this and push.
How come do you get that ESLint error for that spec file? Is
I don't know. I just ignore it because I know it doesn't fail on the main branch. So
it's not committed, and none of those files are committed, right?
Yeah, these are all the files that are about to be committed because of the search and replace.
Yeah. No. I get it. Just I mean, that file is in master. That's the question.
No, it's part of the package.json or yanlock file, I guess.
Okay. So it's a dependency. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, it's a dependency. Okay. So I don't know why ESLint complains about that specific file. If it is a dependency on your unlock, ESLint should not look for it, I guess.
This is cool. It's quite a good amount of depth cleared with 2 MRs, no?
Yeah.
That's a pen, by the way, not pre-pen, right?
Yep. It's just because the branch is called pre-pen.
Yeah.
That was my... Actually, let me swap the branches before I forget.
I mean, just leave it work in progress, and then you can rebase it on master while the first one is merged, no?
I kind of prefer this one because otherwise the diff is going to be very weird. It's going to include both changes from the prepend left and prepend right, and it's going to be like 70-something changes. So I'm just gonna put this work in progress. That's a good idea. And wanted to copy this. Pen bottom, append right default. There we go.
Cool.
2 down in just 1 session, which is awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I think we don't have time to start third work here. I think I op off and I prepare for the next meeting.
Yeah, I mean, let me just stop the share and we can stop at the meeting here if you want. That way I can just start uploading the video as soon as this finishes processing.
Yeah, sure.